Welcome. Three guys, many games, week two. It took us a while to get here. We're a little bit technically challenged. Smalls is running around, but he made it happen so we could get started on talking about what was a very big week in lacrosse and weekend in lacrosse. So Smalls, I'm going to start, with your big week of Carolina. You got your Carolina vest on. You
Yep.
had a big week. You were with them all week. What did it end with? What was the Stony Brook game? Was the
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they played Stony Brook, and it was probably the longest road trip they've ever had of any team. It was 11 full days with three games added in there. Again, last week they played on Saturday. They played Hofstra. They beat them pretty significantly. Then they played Wag. They beat them good. But the last game, they were a little tired. They beat them, but not probably the way they wanted to. But three good wins for them. 11-day road trip. I just think the bonding trip and everything was fantastic for these guys. And then
well, what do you think? Do you think that well, one, I think it's definitely a good Vin. Would you say it's a good recruiting tool? I mean, obviously being in Long Island for the week and playing all those games, a lot of kids, a lot of good players, high school players probably went and watched and that's probably good for the program in the long run for getting the Long Island guys, no? Yeah, I mean that's anytime you win your three games, you know, uh heading into that stretch. But that's looking at their stretch, they have High Point and Army, and then they go into the Virginia, Syracuse, Notre Dame, and Duke. So, you know, I mean that's not overwhelming. I mean the ACC is what they are, but they they
so what are
they
you talking about? 5 games, Steven, they play in a
Well,
row?
let me ask you this: Do you think because we're going to start as we go week by week, we're going to start getting into when we're really talking about the playoffs. Is the ACC a five-team playoff?
I say no. I say four, 3 or 4.
But but
They're
if
going to
the
beat up each other.
Yeah, but what happens if they beat each other up only a little bit? I mean, Carolina's looking at if they beat High Point and they have a few more of those wins, they're looking at a 9-10 win season. They're going to keep a team out that only really has who's a bad loss potentially. They won't have a bad loss. Put it that way.
Got one loss, Vinny. Virginia only got one loss. Hopkins. Okay.
Well, you mentioned Hopkins, so we might as well we can that's a good segue over to them. They had a loss to Navy, who also lost to Villanova tonight. So I mean, that was an interesting game. It's a obviously it's a rivalry game. It's one of those very old rivalries. They travel over to Hopkins. They had all kinds of complications getting there. Three different buses. The one bus they had a car accident. The second bus was burning on fire, and then they had to have a third bus pick them up, and they were late, and so the game got pushed back. Didn't seem to hurt them. I know for me, the truth is when your regular life circumstances all before the game, that actually might relax you a little bit, believe it or not. I always felt better when those things, when you seem to want to just lay back um and just prepare for the game and just sitting back, that doesn't work as much. I feel like sometimes you think about it too much, you overthink it. Maybe that helped them, Navy, in that game. They played a strong game, and something happened, where they didn't come out as fiery for the game with Nova tonight, obviously, because they got beat pretty easy.
The kid beat them up pretty good. They control possessions and they put the game away. A hard earned win for Nova.
Oh my God,
He
Steven, you are
can't
one
handle the
funny
load.
dude.
He can't handle it. He can't handle the truth.
You want to talk a little bit about We're going to run out of time. You want
What
to talk?
about Duke and
I think it's going to be a tie. I'll tell you right now, that game is going to be decided possibly overtime or a one-goal game, in my opinion.
yeah, and down
Yeah,
at Duke?
yeah,
I don't know about that.
yeah, one-goal game. And I'll tell you,
I'll say
I
this.
can't even pick them. I'll tell you, whoever gets the face-off, I'll give you this one. Whoever gets the last face-off will win the game.
It's to me, it's a day of reckoning for Syracuse. This
What's
is
that
what
mean?
it means. It means this is where listen. They've already from my from what I had said from the beginning of the season. I'll eat my hat because I definitely will say you had it right. They were much better than I believed. Right away. I didn't think that they had that kind of
Well,
team.
if they lose, how much better are they?
Well, I mean, listen, they're going against. They're on the road and they're going
Right,
against
they go to.
arguably the one of the.
Oh wait, no, they're playing at Syracuse. I'm sorry. The game's at Syracuse, not at Duke. Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong. You tend to be
Don't do that. You
tend to
get
get a
so
little. Nope, they're home. They're home.
so small as you're right.
Well, you're
Yeah,
right. Okay,
I
they're
stand to be corrected.
I'm corrected. So yeah. Okay. Well, now they really that's
Oh, so you're saying that I don't know who's favored because we can't look at those
well,
spread things.
now I would say it's a one goal
I'm
game.
on with-
I want to give Smalley the opportunity because he wanted to going back to that Cornell game when we were saying that was a great game. It was a great game to watch, very entertaining game. Um, did come down to that last play, and but there was somebody that we're familiar with that got the player of the week in his first game out. Smalls, Tim Goldstein's son.
Oh,
Right,
can I chime on that?
go ahead.
I was watching the game, and I know you guys know him, but I'm saying, who's this fucking kid? I'm like, I didn't know it was Goldston. I'm like, I got him the first nickname, the Wizard. He was inside, outside. He was moving very quick. And the father I'd spoken to the father after the game. I couldn't believe how quick he was. And it was really, really, it was his first game that he played. His first game that he played. So I got to give him credit. That's one of the best games I've seen for a first time player. For a freshman to go into that game, like that, really very, very well done. And then the father, I gave him his nickname, the Professor. And let me ask Stephen how well you think you know the father,
I know
Timmy
pretty well.
Goldstein.
I know him
Okay,
well.
let me give you. You think you know him well? Okay. How many colleges you think he played for?
Played at least two.
Yeah, you're right. Hofstra and Cornell he played. You're right about that. So
Okay.
yeah, I give you credit. Well, go ahead, Vinny. I gotta eat some ice cream. Go ahead.
He got knocked off again. What are we worried about, Vinny?
Steven, don't cut the footage at all. I'm fucking losing. Oh, I can't even enjoy the Haagen-Dazs. You guys suck. The kid is amazing.
They don't, in my opinion, they don't throw him the ball enough. They don't throw him the ball enough. I don't know if it's that, he's new and obviously, the guy's playing his first game, so you don't expect them to. I mean, they're on the Paul Carcaterra's saying that they had to go through him at the end of the tight game, so he's already calling for him to get the ball in those situations.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. So you would think the team, he's a passer. He's a natural passer, and there's nothing better than getting the ball to the natural passer so that he has an opportunity to distribute it. So, but they weren't throwing it to him as much. I think they needed to throw him, the ball more off of whatever the dodge is. Once the defense is moving, then you get it to him, and then let him find the guy. We'll let Vinny talk about what he thought of
Well,
Rai
I think
Rai.
he played.
Go ahead,
I thought he
Vin.
played a great game, especially since it was his first college game. He hit the ground running. He had but what I noticed was, they had him playing off the end line as the X guy, really. Um, whether or not they adjusted to that, I don't know. I didn't see the beginning part of the game, but I did see. He scored three unassisted goals. I think they were. He somehow, I don't remember exactly because I like I said, I put it on late. I saw the last one where he just beat the guy clean and came around right-handed. I don't know if he created a switch off a pick or whatever, but ultimately, the three times he got to the goal was on shorties. So, I think that anybody watching that game, they'll be a little more prepared from next time. Make sure they keep a pole on him because he's dangerous with a short. He just seems very elusive, and if they're going to try to cover him with a short behind the goal, that's going to be a lot of trouble. So he finishes nice. He's not afraid coming around. He didn't look shy to come in and take a hit if he had to, and you know, clearly high IQ and very skilled. But it just added another weapon to Cornell, which has a lot of offensive weapons. They really do. They got some big guys, they got some small, quick guys. They got a nice mix of
Yeah.
people. If they could really get it going, their defense is gonna. I don't think, like I said, I got onto the game. Yeah, no, but I don't know if I
Vinny,
ever
he was
saw a
player of the
game. I don't
game. He
ever
won player of
remember a
the
game
game,
where I
Vin.
saw an 8-goal run for one team and then a 10-goal run for the other team, which is I think what happened. I think they went up. I think Princeton went
Right.
up 2-0,
I
and
said
then
that, yeah.
Cornell went up 8-2, and then they came back and scored 10 in a row, went up 12-8. I never saw runs like that in a college game before, in any game, quite frankly. So that was
Right. Well, it was the face-off man. Like the face-off man for Princeton, who I was saying looked like, oh man, Paulie Talmo. He had like that Talmo body, and he won a lot in a row. I mean, he you know, but they started to get them. They started to. I think what screwed that game up for Princeton, they blew a number of clears towards the end of the game, and they got a couple of times, and they gave up goals on not clearing the ball, and I think that really killed them in that game. They probably would have won that game if they would have just handled the clear and played some offense. That brought Cornell back into the game when they got a couple of those riding goals. Yeah.
Still be in they'll both be in the Ivy League championship, in my opinion. They still have that, right? The Ivy
Well,
League?
what about Yale?
I don't think so. They're good. I
Yeah.
think these two
Yale has
teams.
lost one game, and the one game they lost was to Penn State, where Penn State had like a miraculous come from behind victory at the end. Otherwise, they'd be undefeated.
Do that. You know that, right?
Do it. He can't do it. Let's see. Let's at least go over the rankings. I want wait. Let me
All
pull up
right.
the rankings. Let's see. Here's the rankings.
Hey, Steven, are you going to add Cheryl? Are you going to add Cheryl in on the? What would happen? They took the phone. We had phone problems. The phones were.
Oh my God. So the rankings, there was not major changes, but Penn State moved all the way up to 5.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, they only have one loss. It was early, you know, the rankings. Penn State moves all the way up to 5. They are the big mover. Leave your camera off. I'm only gonna do audio. There you go. Try that. Maybe
Oh,
that'll
me?
you off. Vinny is experiencing connectivity issues. Ask them to refresh and re-enter the studio. This is what they're saying. Do you gotta when you refresh the browser, or well, you're on. It's recording now. All right, you're good now. Leave it that way. Leave your camera off. You're getting recorded. No, we can't see it. So Penn State's the big mover. Yeah, I gotta hear you. Penn State's the big mover. Syracuse stayed right where they are. Maryland moved down a little. Yale moved up a little bit. Georgetown's up. Hopkins is down. Hopkins was the big down slide. What do you think, Smalls?
Who I think it should be who I think is better than their ratings? What are you asking me?
Well, do you think anybody's out of line? You think that
Yeah, I do.
okay, what do you think's
I
about?
think because Denver got beat, they dropped so far down to number 9. They need to move up like 7th, I think.
So you don't think
Denver
they
lost one game, big deal. They beat they beat some good teams. Why are they at
You know
9?
what you
But
got to
somebody
try
got
to
it, I
pull
guess.
up, Steven? You
Right.
got to pull up the RPI. Yale is number 1 RPI. You know, this is just
Yeah, I mean,
this
listen,
is
I
this the
think I
media
said
poll
Yale
or
before.
coaches one you're looking at there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you go by
this is the media poll. Yeah. Well, I listen. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with this list at all, really. But I will say, I think Yale. You got to really consider Yale that they're one of these top teams. They only lost one game. They lost one game, and to a team, Penn State, who everybody's talking about now, and had to come back and beat them, and they've got guys hurt, so they could be very dangerous by the end, for sure. I think could you? I'll give you this question. Here's a question for Smalley. Ready for this? You're looking at your list there.
Yeah.
Could you see any team outside the top 10 win the championship?
Yeah. Georgetown.
They're at 10, so they're in the top 10.
Oh, I can't pick. Okay.
Outside the top 10.
So, that could win the champ. Hold on. I'm looking. Yeah, I do. Johns Hopkins.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see that. I don't think I see it. I don't think I see a team. I don't know that I see a team outside the top 5 or 6 that can win. But I will now put Syracuse in the mix, and we'll see how I feel about that after this game against Duke. Because if they beat Duke, you might have even a whole other opinion about, expectations for them. Maybe the Final Four is not that ambitious for them if they can beat Duke at home.
I'd like to give a shout out to the game tomorrow to three great Italian families on Long Island. The Balsamo family from Duke. Amazing family. I got to know them, man. They took it seriously, and look where they are. Another great family, Italian family. I'd like to go eat spaghetti with all 3 families. I like the fish, AKA Fish. They own the biggest fish company, lobster company in the country. I said, I love the kid. I love the son. And he's really, really talented. He's working hard, man. So Joey Spallina and Mike Leo are working hard. And then over there, the Long Island kid from Manhasset, the parents, they got a great family. The Balsamos, man, it's a great matchup.
It's a great matchup. It really is. And they've
If you
always
think about it, it's really exciting.
they've played against each other for years, from
Right. There's somewhat rivalries.
Right.
Hey, listen, it's good to have that. It's like you need a team to beat, It's like, what would you say that? Like football. You got Notre Dame, Michigan. You need rivalries. You need people that want to beat people. I like that. I admire that type of competition. I want to win. And both of those families want to win, but 3 great Italian families, if you think about it.
the best. The best.
You know, I'd love to have spaghetti. I'd love to be around the table and film it one day where I got all those three Italians, the families, all of us on a podcast.
You wanna just you want it to be a good game. I was very the last time they played, it was up in the dome, and Charles had the winning goal in overtime. As a
What was the
freshman
score of that game?
last year, I think it might have been
Wasn't high scoring though.
10, 11-10, I think,
Wow, you might be right.
something like that. But it was overtime. It was in OT, and so obviously, I mean, listen, Syracuse to me is a different team than they were last year for sure. I would have never believed what I saw this year. I said down in Florida that I didn't even have them in the top 10 when we were doing preseason,
Wow, Steven, I didn't realize that.
and I didn't have them in the top 10. And
Oh, that's why you were kind of killing me, right? I kept saying, I think
and I'll say I was wrong. I was wrong. To me, they're clearly in the top 10. They're clearly a top
in the
10.
top 10.
And I do think I do think they're going to do well in that ACC games. I think they're going to, I do think they'll do better than they've done the last few years in that. And that's going to, if they win one or two of those ACC games, they're going to be ranked in the top 10. They're going to be going into the tournament. So, and they're as good as any of these teams that I, have seen, up here.
I would love to see it something like this, only because Long Island people, we just brought up the Balsamo family, the Spallina family, the Fish family, the Leo family. I would love to see a Final Four with like Duke and Syracuse. Could that possibly be, or they're not? They wouldn't be on the same block.
No, they definitely could both make it. Listen. What we said is, will they get 5 teams in the tournament? Meaning even North Carolina. I think Notre Dame, Virginia, and Duke are definitely getting in the tournament. Then you got to look at that 4th team. Will Syracuse be that 4th team? Will North Carolina be that 4th team? And even if they're the 4th team, could they get a 5th team?
North Carolina, they go on a run. Or that young Irish family. What's the Irish kid again? I met the dad. They're good people.
Freshman Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy kid.
Yeah.
Wow, what a nice compliment.
Yeah, he's a strong player. They look good. Are they? Do they? They're young though. I mean, they're going.
It's crazy. They're young, man. You're right.
But they're going. And in that ACC, they got it's very, very competitive in terms of, obviously, Notre Dame is a big physical team. Virginia is very, very strong, and Duke has got all of these, the senior laden attack that they're going to be tough to stop. So, a young team against some of those teams, like Syracuse is young too. So you got Syracuse and Carolina, 2 young teams, having to try to take out, Notre Dame, Virginia, and Duke, which are, those are tough games. And then you got the Ivies. Like Vinny would bring up the Ivies and say, that they beat ACC in that like crossover weekend that they had, and they did. So all of these, and then you go to the Big Ten, and you got Maryland, who obviously can beat anybody on any given day.
Maryland's got listen. Maryland with the coaching that they got there, that guy, what he does, he gets good players, but he still puts it together. I like the way
he makes the culture. He's got a great culture. He's got a tremendous culture, and John Tolman, he coaches them well. They all share the ball. They play well together. They're going to be very, very strong too. But
he's about probably my favorite guy in the game, along with Bresci and these other guys. It just like even the guy, the defensive coach with Carolina. I could see him. My
man Dave.
He's back. Dave Petramali. Love the guy. Hey, Vinny, what shirt you wearing?
I got my Hofstra gear on.
Whoa!
And I got my PLL hat on.
Vinny, is that a North Face sweatshirt?
It's a North Face, yeah. Oh, what did I do? But my phone apparently has low storage because things are popping up with that.
He's got low storage.
He's got that net zero. He's got
Low
Vinny, you're
device
the,
storage is running
Did you
low.
pick?
You should
Well,
stop the recording and free up device data, it's saying. I guess because it's recording, so it's taking up space. And I don't have a lot of space.
I mean, she's gonna go off.
Is it popping up? When it pops up on my phone, can you see it?
no, I don't see
Uh-huh.
it.
Well, I saw a change. Yeah,
But the
just
phone,
change.
I think, seems better than the other thing. But we were talking about these rankings, and Smalley, I asked him if he saw a team outside the top 10 that could win the championship.
Yeah.
He said Hopkins. I said I don't see a team pass. Maybe I don't think a team, when it comes down to it, who out of the top 5 or 6 that'll win the
Yeah.
championship.
I think when crunch time comes and the money's on the line, my guess is you're going to probably see another 3 ACC teams in the Final Four.
You could, you
You
could.
know.
Well, that's what he's hoping for. He said, he was saying, could it be that Duke ends up with Syracuse in the Final Four? I said, I don't see why not. Why not?
Yeah.
They'd have to win some.
Oh, he didn't hear us. I thought that would be a great matchup, and I talked about it'd be great because we know personally, the three great families. You got the Balsamos from Manhasset. You
I
got
did hear you.
Fish.
I heard you say that, but you left out Muley.
Oh, Muley too. What a great addition. You're correct.
Yeah.
That's an amazing addition. Wow, you're right.
Yeah.
Imagine that dinner. I'd like to bring them all one day to dinner. Sit down and eat spaghetti and meatballs with all the families. You got Fish, the Leos, the Spalinas, all of them.
They even gave Ray Surris a shout out during the game when he scored a goal. They said Uncle Ray is going to give him some chicken cutlets for that
Uncle
goal.
Ray would give him.
Ah,
That's great.
oh, they all made it. They made it. They all worked so damn hard for this sport. I got to give them credit. They fought everything.
Vinny picked Duke for tomorrow. I think I see Duke winning the game. I look, if Syracuse wins, they'll show me something even more. They'll shut me up again. But I think Duke is going to win. What do you think?
I will tell you one thing, and I'll put this on the map. This is going to change my opinion about Duke. If they spot them 5 and they come out with a significant win, and I look at the box score and it's 2013, and then they end up with 2015. That to me, that's a lot of goals in a game like this.
Especially if you're doing it going up to the dome. I don't know that that's a they they went against a team that's not as strong as Syracuse's this year's team, and they won by a goal in overtime, where Charles got the winner.
By the way, Vinny, the big experts, why don't you give Smalley a little shout out instead of always killing me? Steven said I won the week. How does that happen, Steven?
The first week you won in 17 weeks.
I won. So it's a start.
It took you 17 weeks. You're looking for.
Hey, listen, Stuttering John didn't win anything right away either.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe it'll put you on a roll. We'll see.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's a compliment, yeah.
We'll see. You're still under 500 though.
You gotta kill me.
And I'm 3 games up on Vin, and Vin's 3 games up on you. That's where it is right now.
But I did win last week, 3 games on all these.
You won the week. You definitely won the week.
But if I commit next week and I go up, I get 2 or 3 next week, I'm right there with you.
You're right there. Well, we'll have to see. Well, this week will, when we get together next week, Vinny will change from net zero, from his net zero internet in 1980.
No, he got the phone. He's already betted. It didn't go.
He's already better, exactly.
Oh, he's going to go off. Watch. Give him like a minute and a half. He's gone.
The phone is much better.
The phone
is much better.
And when when we get together next week, we're gonna obviously be able to talk about this.
Are we done now? Game. I thought we had other things.
No, that was it. That's all I had. Unless you have
all right.
You want to talk about.
All right. So if you have to pick just one guy right now, that's the MVP of the year. We don't know right now going through. Give me one guy. You want to pick 2? Pick 1 or 2 guys that are going to be the MVP right now going through.
That's tough.
I say either
It's a little
Spalina,
early. It's a little early.
of course, but I'm just guessing. I'm going to go with Spalina or obviously the big dog. So I'll pick the two, either one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I say if I had to pick two, I would say right now I would say Schnellenberger and O'Neill. Those are the two that I would say.
Who do you think will end up with the most points for the year? For the year, I say Spalina.
Points or points per game?
What the hell's the difference with that? Now you're getting technical.
No, points is total points. Somebody could play 20 games and have more points, and
That's,
one guy
oh,
could
that's a
play
good point.
15 games and
Well,
have points per game.
let me pull that up for you. Let me pull this up because
Well, right now, Spalina's leading in points.
But
so
Steven brought out a good point. They played more games. No, or
well Zawada and O'Neill are right on his tail, but
Well, points per game, he's still like number two. He's right up there. But, listen, now it's hard to say right now, but
I don't understand how he gets that many points, Spalina. I don't get it.
he gets
What?
he
Oh, they
gets
haven't
a
played
lot
the
of
schedule
assists.
yet.
He's
The
balanced.
interleague.
His scoring is pretty balanced. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got more assists than goals. He's probably there's a bunch of guys who have more goals than him, and some of them have played one or two games less. So whether it'll be fine. He might end up the most points and not be the highest in either category.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, Vinny, for interrupting here. I found something very interesting and something that I don't hear from you guys. This kid could be on the new radar list. Go. I can't see good, so tell me who number 4 is. Tell me about this kid. Does anybody know who he is?
Who's
he's an
number?
he's an attackman on High Point. He's the lefty, I think, on
Yeah,
High Point.
he's a good scorer. Where I can't really. Okay, wait. I could open it up a little on my phone. This is good. This is.
Ah!
We're looking at points, right?
Yep.
You got O'Neill, Zawada. I don't know that they put Schellenberger's points in today. He had 6 today, I think. So he's at like 49.
Or he'd be at the second. He'd go ahead of them right now.
Yeah, and he played
Yeah.
and he played a less game. I think he's only, so he's gaining. Listen, like I said to Smalls, I think all the accolades and all of that stuff goes with what teams win. Don't the Kavanaughs? How many? They haven't even played that many games.
Right.
You know, they got a lot less games. They only played like how many games did they play? 7, 6. I think I don't know. They always seem to play less games than everybody, and then they catch up near the end. But listen, I don't think these guys care so much about what they score. The question is, I mean, I think the interesting thing to watch in terms of stats, you got two guys chasing Mac O'Keefe, our good friend Brian O'Keefe's son, who holds the record at 221. You got two guys chasing that record, uh, Cormier and from Virginia, and O'Neill are chasing that goals in a career record.
Also, Vinny, you're saying the best pure scorer in the game today is Comier. He's a Canadian.
Well, I forget. He's probably somewhere in his career. He's maybe 40 goals off of the all-time scoring record
Wow.
with a bunch of games. Maybe not even that
Is
many.
this his last year? Or has he got one more for Kobe?
This is it for both of them, him and O'Neill. But they both, based on how they usually score, they both have a shot to catch Mac if they go deep into the
Okay.
playoffs.
Okay.
They each could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like a bunch of games left. You got like I said, you got the ACC tournament, you got all of that still to go. So when Lyle Thompson was playing and the kid Gray, and Connor Fields, you had a run there where every year there was some player scoring over 100 points, sometimes
Oh,
more than one. I think
competition.
Polina, if they could win some games, he may have the best chance to get to 100 points this year.
Wow.
Was he at 57 right now?
57.
Yeah, if they come at 43 points, that's possible for him.
Billy, where would you be today? You and Charlie Lockwood. I had to throw that name in there, Charlie
Charlie
Lockwood.
Lockwood, well,
I
the
love, I
midfielder.
love the name. I never really
know,
got it. I met him a couple times.
I,
Is it
I,
true that he played basketball too, Vinny? Is that true?
yeah,
Somebody told me he was a basketball.
yeah, Boeheim wanted him to rough up the players, but he told me they brought him in to rough up the basketball players. He said he got roughed up. They were big, but
Some athlete though, even come on. Wow.
yeah, Charlie was a great athlete. So, all right, I got a little topic if you want to go there. What do you think, Steven? You got a little other topic?
Go ahead.
The
What's your
top
topic?
is about, we talk about it all the time, Smalls and I, about lacrosse players as athletes. And look at, some of the guys that are having success who are translating sports, football, whether it be football and lacrosse or vice versa. And so I'll give you an example. The freshman midfielder on Notre Dame, who's having a great year, Faison, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. The kid got the MVP at a bowl game that Notre Dame played in football, and here he is playing lacrosse and having a great season in lacrosse for Notre
Wow.
Dame. He's on the first midfielder field. He's a big contributor. He's I think he's raised their level. You know, but then I'll also say this. I got to throw this in. We got to mention our good friend Tim O'Connell's son, Michael O'Connell, the guy who saved the day for NC State in the ACC basketball tournament, banking a shot in with zeros on the clock to get them to overtime and get them to have life in that game and then win the ACC championship. He's a lacrosse player who had an opportunity to go to University of Maryland to play lacrosse, but his first love was basketball. But who knows, when he finishes his basketball, if he doesn't have some kind of pro career, whether it's here or maybe in Europe, because he looks like he's that caliber. Maybe he'll take that extra year and go play lacrosse somewhere
Oh,
because we
Vinny,
know
you're
he
right.
enjoys playing.
I love that family. That's my new greatest family. Oh, they're on all cylinders, man. Those guys are flying like a kite. The father, I love him. He's typical Irish. He's got a bobblehead. He's like me. But he really did the right thing with the kids, him and the wife. If you want to take a blueprint and really go and see what they do with the kids, he's your blueprint. I got to give him credit. He jokes around. The guy, it's so surreal. He told me. I couldn't see being a parent hitting a 3-point shot, and now they're going to the NCAAs. It's unbelievable. It's a dream of the kids.
Yeah.
Playing basketball, the first round, Texas Tech. Somehow you'll see me on TV tomorrow, Thursday. I got to get to that game.
How about him as a student? When you talk about student athletes, kid went to Stanford and graduated in 3 years.
Incredible.
Oh my God!
So, now here he is at NC State, living his dream.
I don't know
So
if you got
good
to
for
see him
him.
on the stand after the game when they beat Duke. He was on at the table there for a good 10 minutes that they were interviewing him
Yeah, he had a
after,
nice interview. He speaks
and
well.
well
Yeah.
spoken, great kid, great family, like you said. Uh, they're on a heater, they're on a run. They got people thinking like it's 1983 and they're on that kind of run when
Hey,
they haven't
Steven,
been.
talk about a run. The other brother, Thomas, first time he ever won a national championship. Our dear friend, Coach Tillman. He came,
Exactly.
went to Tillman, was a captain. Thomas was a captain. Tillman won his first national championship. How about that?
Yeah, I mean these are athletes. Like Vinny
Oh,
brought
they're
the topic
athletes.
up. These kids now, you brought up those guys, and now why don't you go to the next level and you talk about Pat Spencer, who won
Oh,
the
that's a nice
marathon
story.
and is now in the Golden State Warriors organization, and his
It's
brother
unbelievable.
is playing on UConn, who's one of the
Yeah.
top teams in the country. So I mean
I
these guys
haven't heard.
now.
I haven't heard that Cam Spencer played lacrosse. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But Pat Spencer, we all know what he did. He's as good as anybody who ever played the game.
UConn, baby.
I thought Smalley was going to say Bonzo played lacrosse at Maryland, but he also bowled or something.
I love my Bonzo. I love all you guys, but he's the greatest high school player ever. 40 years before they broke his record. Bambi, what's the guy's name?
Yeah, Bambi,
Bambi?
Bambo, Rambo,
Bambo. First time Bambo came in.
Rambo,
Did
Thanks,
you call
Vinny.
him Bambi?
Bambi,
Did you just call him
Bambi.
Bambi?
Oh
You
boy.
guys,
That guy's about as
yeah.
far as
Some
Bambi as you
players
can
you are.
get.
I had a serious problem as a kid with all the things I had going on and in my head and everything. And now I got you guys 40 years later still laughing at me about dyslexia and all this problems, my problems. Thank you guys. I need dear friends like you two guys. You're wonderful.
Well, like I said, you're gonna need an Academy Award winning uh, editor to edit this.
What are you
This
talking about? I got my green card. Tyson, what do you call the card, Vinny, when you get the card?
SAG,
SAG card. You got your
the
SAG
The
card.
SAG,
green what?
SAG.
I'm gonna get my. I told Shella I want my SAG card,
Oh
so
my
I'm gonna be an extra in some of them. Tyson Bidder, Vinny, my cousin, isn't he famous? Bidder,
Yeah,
Tyson.
yeah. Academy Award winner.
We'll be back next week. Vinny looks like he's got a new method now.
I gotta delete some stuff from my phone so I can so I have some storage because the thing keeps popping up. But definitely this was a better method for me using the phone.
No, it's definitely your computer is your issue, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, in all due respect, and I love Vinny, but he is older, whatever. You think that Vinny could have played at Syracuse with the Gates at that era, at that time?
Vinny could have played in any era. What are you
No,
talking
no, I'm
about? Are you
saying
crazy?
you're not listening. On
Okay,
that
go ahead.
line with the Gates.
Of course he could have.
No, that was Rodney Dumpson's spot. That was his spot. He
No, I
fit
mean you're
good with
saying
them.
he's saying
I would
No,
be
I
on the
know
Villanova's
next.
Rodney's an amazing athlete. I'm just saying, could you have that era or I mean, because these guys basically, the Gates really changed the game. They're like Mike. No, am I wrong? I mean, to me, they changed the game. I mean,
Well,
when they,
they were revolutionary. There's no question about it. You know, just their style was. I mean, Cockatoo had a style that nobody really saw. Frenchie, another Canadian.